Hello? Hey, Nicole, what's up? Wait, what time is it? It's like 3 a.m. Did something happen?
No, something did not happen. Stasia, you put me on the Starch solution saying I would lose weight, and I haven't lost any weight.
Okay, how long have you been following the Starch solution for?
36 hours.
Please put the scale away and go back to bed. It's normal to not see results overnight. You can stop panicking. Oh. Hello?
Stasia, listen.
Hi, Nicole.
I can't stop. I can't stop pooping.
Okay. So how many times did you used to go to the washroom?
Like 3 times a week.
3 times a week? Oh, girl, it's completely healthy to go 3 times a day.
I don't have time for this. I have to write an essay.
We're gonna keep it low-key, keep it softly spoken, with no strings tying you to me.
Hey, Nicole.
It's not me this time. It's my mother.
Wait, what do you mean it's your mother?
She won't stop sending me pictures of her deep-fried vegan delicacies.
I mean, yeah, that can be frustrating when others aren't eating the same as you.
I don't understand how I can accomplish anything with other people's toxic behavior. It's completely out of my control. I don't see how I'm supposed to cope.
Yeah, I mean, I can help you out with that. But can I call you back, like I don't know, when the sun's up? Oh, how thoughtful of her to call it a normal hour. Hey, girl.
Stasia.
How you doing, Nicole?
So I finally decided to go to my 8 a.m. class for the first time in like a month. The problem is, I kind of blacked out getting there, and now here I am afterwards, hungry. And do you think the zombie of this morning packed anything to eat before my next class? Chipotle is calling my name, and what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just starve the rest of the day?
Somebody's a little hangry. So, no, definitely don't starve yourself for today. Just do the best that you can. But, with the Starch solution, it's better to meal prep in advance for situations like this.
Meal prep? When am I supposed to do that? Before my 8 a.m. class?
I got a lot of explaining to do. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Stasia and I'm following Dr. McDougall's The Starch Solution. Okay, so I just want to start by giving a very warm shout out to my girl, Nicole Miller. Thank you so much for featuring in my intro. It was such a blast working with you. If you want to see more of Nicole, she posts a variety of funny videos, with her latest one being about her 30-day challenge eating plant-based and whether or not she decides to stay that way. So if you have a sense of humor, be sure to check her out. I will have her link in the description below. So much like Nicole in the intro, I know that there are some common struggles with the Starch solution that we all face at one time or another. Especially if you're just starting out, you really might be experiencing some of these things. So today, I'm gonna be addressing the top 7 struggles that I've noticed either in the comments on my videos or comments within my Facebook group. Which, by the way, be sure to join us there if you haven't already. I'll post the link in the description below. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So the first common struggle we're gonna talk about today that sometimes people face on the Starch solution is bloating. A lot of the time this happens when you're first starting the Starch solution, but for some people, it never really goes away. So there's a couple possible reasons for that. So if you're new to the Starch solution, you have to understand that you're probably consuming a lot more fiber than what you're normally used to, and that's more than likely the reason for your bloating. That initial bloating can last for a couple of days, up to even a couple of weeks. So try not to freak out if you feel like you constantly have a food baby. It will eventually go away. So this personally happened to me for about the first week or so on the Starch solution, but it's really calmed down since, with the exception of beans sometimes, but it's beans, so Now, if you've been following the starch solution for quite some time and you're still experiencing bloating, then there definitely could be another reason for that. It could be possible that your digestive system is compromised and your gut flora is out of balance, which can make digesting certain foods very difficult. I personally suffered from digestive issues that just popped up overnight and decided to last for another 2 years. That is another story for another day, but I did learn a lot about how important it is to heal the gut. So if you're suffering from IBS, foods like grains and beans can be very, very challenging to digest, which in turn would cause some bloating. So in that case, my suggestion would be to seek out a professional that specializes in healing the gut and can recommend the appropriate digestive enzymes that can really help you break down your food. I would also recommend sticking to starches like potatoes and sweet potatoes. I personally always found that those were a lot easier to digest and helped a lot to ease my bloating. Okay, so the second struggle I want to address are other people who are living in the home that are not following the starch solution with you. So this struggle is a very common one for most of us, including myself. Just because we decided to take our health back and start a weight loss journey does not mean that everyone around us is going to do the same. So it can definitely be more challenging when we have unhealthy treats and unhealthy snacks around us because, as they say, out of sight, out of mind. I've even heard other plant-based influencers say, well, just take all the non-compliant food out of the house. Well, unless you live alone or are literally forcing everyone else to do it with you, then that's not always possible. As much as I would love to see my husband and my children eat exactly like me, I also believe in respecting everybody's individual path. So one thing I do to make sure that I'm not tempted by their food is make sure that I have my own special food just like they have theirs. So for me, I like to make sure I always have my ingredients for my oatmeal pie. If you haven't seen the recipe for that yet, I can link that below in the description. Ingredients for ice cream, homemade corn chips and hummus, and frozen fruit. Oh, and some of my yummy teas. So it's no different than before. We all have our yummy foods that we get excited about. So just apply the same thing to the starch solution. That way, when someone else is indulging in something that's not compliant with the starch solution, you're good. You're gonna have your go-to things that you're actually excited about too. Whether it's snacks or full meals that we're talking about, it's always good to have foods that you're really, really excited about. It's always best to find foods that you actually love rather than just eating something because you have to. Eating is supposed to be enjoyable, and that is very, very possible with the starch solution. So you just have to build your master list of your favorite go-to foods and always have them around so you will feel less tempted and just care less in general when others in the house are eating non-compliant foods around you. Okay, so fair warning, we're gonna get a little TMI here, but didn't we already? If you are new to the starch solution and coming from the standard American diet, you might be used to going to the washroom like 3 times a week. With the starch solution, you might end up going to the washroom many times a day.
I know you're not mine, it's just my turn, but we can still have fun for now.
Okay, so maybe that was a bit of an exaggeration, but you can definitely expect to be going to the washroom a lot more. And not only is that normal, but it's perfectly healthy. So don't freak out if you find yourself in the washroom more often. It's actually a really good thing. Okay. So on the contrary, some people might actually find the opposite. They might be feeling a little bit constipated following the starch solution. This is just usually due to the excess amount of fiber that the body's simply just not used to yet. So I would just make sure that you're drinking enough water, and in time, your body's going to end up shifting into the other way we were just talking about. Okay, so the fourth struggle I want to address is the proper meal prep and planning. So some people struggle with feeling hungry and not having something fast enough to eat. I can't stress enough how important it is to meal prep and plan out your food for each week and even each day. This is honestly one of the biggest tips you can take to be successful with the starch solution. Because half or more of our diet comes from starches like beans, potatoes, sweet potatoes. They all do take a little bit of time to cook. So you always need to have these things already prepared in advance. It makes this way of eating so much easier and really helps you out when you're starving and tempted to go off track. Meal prepping is not everybody's strong suit, and maybe if you're at home and you have a lot of time, then it's not even necessary. But if you're a busy mom like myself, then meal prepping is the key to being successful with the Starch solution. Losing weight and getting healthy is an investment into ourselves. So yes, meal prepping might be a bit of a pain in the butt sometimes or a bit time consuming, but it's most definitely worth it. Your future self will thank you. Okay, so this next one ties into the last one, eating on the go. Eating on the go is definitely another struggle that some people face when following the Starch solution. So you can definitely find some Starch solution compliant foods outside of the home, but I certainly wouldn't wait until you're starving to try and figure it out. Depending on where you live, the options will vary. I suggest making a master list of all the restaurants in your city that offer Starch solution compliant foods. That way you'll already know, so next time you're out and you're starving, you won't be in a panic. Secondly, I would always try to bring food with you. If you don't already, you should buy yourself a nice lunch bag just for you and always make sure that you have something to eat when you leave the house. I'm pretty good at this. I do it about 90% of the time, to the point that my husband and my kids both know the drill. Mommy has to bring her food. So either way, you definitely don't want to be out starving, so making a plan in advance will help prevent that. Okay, so the sixth struggle is one that I have personally dealt with in the past, but it's weighing yourself too much or weighing yourself too soon. So I know that a lot of us really want to see rapid weight loss. I mean, that's just part of human nature. We all want to see results now. As silly as Nicole was in the intro, there was actually a lot of truth in that. There have seriously been times that I weighed myself within a 24-hour period and didn't see results and actually felt disappointed. Just saying that out loud is kind of embarrassing and ridiculous that I would expect that. But again, that's just kind of how our brains work. And following that disappointment, it was always enough to make me quit whatever weight loss plan I was following after not seeing any significant results within a couple of days. But now I've made peace with the scale and I only weigh myself about once a month or so just to check in. Now, if you don't have any issues with the scale and want to weigh yourself very often, then that's perfectly okay too. But I would encourage those that get that sinking, defeated feeling, if they don't see those numbers moving fast enough, to just take a breather from the scale and check in every so often. I have honestly seen so many varying weight loss success stories following the Starch solution. Some happen extremely fast and others happen extremely slow. So try not to compare yourself and just keep doing the best that you can do and keep moving forward. Our bodies are all different, our circumstances are all different, our ages, our metabolism, activities, and eating behaviors. I could go on. The point being, we are all different, so it's not fair to yourself to expect the same. And the last struggle I want to address is having to explain or justify the way you eat. A lot of times our friends and family mean well, but it does not always come across that way. Sometimes when we're eating different than the people around us, it can evoke a lot of questions and sometimes even concerns. You may be asked a lot of questions that you don't have all the answers to in that moment, and that's okay. You don't have to. When people ask you why you eat this way, you could just simply start off by explaining all of the wonderful benefits of this diet, or simply just explain how good you feel eating this way. But if the questions become too much, then you can respectfully say, listen, I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, but Dr. McDougall is. So if you really want to know more, you should buy his book. Or they can check out Getting Healthy with Stasia's channel. Discussions about food can get pretty intense with people sometimes, so I personally just try my best not to get in any heated debates over it. Just try not to second guess yourself, especially with someone who only thinks they know what they're talking about. We know why we're eating this way, even if they don't. Okay guys, so that was the top 7 common struggles with the Starch solution. If I didn't mention something that you're struggling with, be sure to put it in the comments below. The Starch solution is just such a wonderful way of eating. I hope that this cleared up any questions or concerns that any of you might be having. If it's your first time here and you'd like to follow along my weight loss journey, get all my tips and tricks that I'm learning along the way, then be sure to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. I'm getting in my kitchen for my next video, so stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.